Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to call this regular meeting of the City of Pasco Code Enforcement Board to order. These proceedings are being presented live on PSC-TV Cable Channel 191 and will be rebroadcast throughout the following month. The Code Enforcement Board conducts public meetings to hear issues regarding alleged violations of the City Code, in particular property maintenance standards. For those of you present, if you are given an opportunity to address the Code Enforcement Board, we ask you speak clearly into the microphone at the podium right up here. State your name and address for the record, and I would request that if you brought a cell phone tonight, if you would please turn that off during the proceedings. Thank you. Let's now have roll call.
Let's see, Mr. Chair, let's see. Mr. Dwayne Spear.
Present.
Mr. Daniel Gottschalk.
Present.
Mr. Dwayne Van Beek.
Present.
Ms. Mary Gutierrez.
Present.
Mr. James Rawlinson.
Present.
We have 5 members present. We have a quorum.
All right, thank you. Would you please join me in standing for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you, folks. The next item of business on tonight's agenda is the approval of the minutes from the February 1st, 2024 meeting. May I have a motion to approve the minutes, please?
I move that the minutes of the February 1st, 2024 meeting of the Code Enforcement Board be approved as mailed.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. It's been moved and seconded. We accept as mailed. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries. We will now hear the cases scheduled for tonight, March 7th, 2024 at 7 o'clock for alleged violations of the Pasco Municipal Code. The City of Pasco is a petitioner. Property owners and their authorized representatives here to address the city's charges of the respondents. The purpose of these hearings is to determine whether the city, by a preponderance of the evidence, has proven that the violation charged has occurred upon certain properties owned or controlled by the respondents, and if so, whether the required corrective action is reasonable and whether a monetary penalty is appropriate. The procedures are as follows. First, the chair will open the hearing, which is being recorded. To ensure the accuracy of testimony, each person who will be testifying tonight shall be sworn to truthfulness. Second, the city has the burden of proof and shall present its case, including any witnesses and exhibits that are relevant to the case. The respondent may cross-examine the city and the city's witnesses. Third, the respondent shall present their case, including any witnesses and exhibits that are relevant to the case. The city may cross-examine the respondent's witnesses. Fourth, the city will have the opportunity for rebuttal of the respondent's evidence raised in their case, and the respondent may answer the city's rebuttal. Fifth, after all the evidence is in the record, the hearing will be closed. Remember, this is your only opportunity to present evidence in this case. And then finally, the board members will discuss the charges, facts, and evidence presented, render a decision, and a copy of the decision will be mailed to all parties within 10 working days.
Mr. Chair, we're ready to hear tonight's cases. Before we begin, will you please explain the procedure for providing testimony and swearing all city staff, respondents, and any other witnesses who have appeared here to offer testimony?
Yeah. Testimony can only be received at the microphone right up here. When you address the board, please state your name and address at the beginning of your testimony. If you have any written materials you wish to be considered, please present them to be marked as an exhibit. It will become part of the hearing record. Any questions about the procedure tonight, folks, at all? We're good? Are there any objections to any member of this board hearing your matter due to your belief that any one of us may have a conflict of interest or the appearance of one? And if so, please indicate that objection now or it will be considered waived. Yes, sir.
I think I can prove conflict of interest on Rosanna Johnson.
Okay, we're talking about just it's the board members up here. That's what we're talking. Okay. We will now swear in witnesses who will be testifying in the proceedings. Would all city staff, respondents, and witnesses present for any of the cases to be heard tonight please stand and raise your right hand? If you're going to come up and talk to us, just stand and raise your right hand, please. Do you promise to tell the truth in these proceedings? If so, please respond, I do. Excellent. You may be seated. The city will now present their first case.
Mr. Chair, we're actually going to be a little out of order tonight. We're going to give the first case a couple more minutes to show up. So our first case is going to be CEB 2023-1296. Mr. Contreras, when you're ready, can you please present your case?
Good afternoon, everybody.
My case is case number CEB 2023-1296. The property address is 5621 West Livingston Road. Owner information on record is Frank and Carolyn Bittrick. The violations cited for this case were zoning code 25.165.090 and a nuisance code 9.90.040 subsection 6. On November 16, 2023, I received an anonymous complaint advising of dead leaves being stored at the edge of the property line at the property located at 5621 Livingston Road. The property known as 5621 West Livingston Road was inspected on the 7th of December of 2023 by me, Code Officer Jesus Contreras. Code violations were observed and a notice of civil violation was issued on December 8, 2023 for case CEB 2023-1296. On December 20th of 2023, I received a call from the complainant stating that Mr. Bittrick had moved the entire 200-foot row of leaves just 5 feet or less away from the property line, but still had not removed them. On December 20, 2023, I telephoned Mr. Bittrick as he had moved the leaves away from the neighbor's property line, and I believe that he had misunderstood the notice of the civil violation. Mr. Bittrick informed me that he did not misunderstand, but is in a feud with his neighbor, and that is why he is not removing the leaf piles. He also stated that he believes that the city of Pasco is singling him out. I assured him that this is not happening and I have had no outside influence with this case. I received a complaint, I investigated it, I verified it, and then sent out a notice of civil violations for the items that I verified to be out of compliance with city codes. I then informed Mr. Bittrick that I would be out on January 2nd, 2024 to re-inspect and make a determination on the progress to remedy the violations. On January 4th, 2024, the Code Enforcement Board approved the city recommended penalties, and a penalty notification was sent out on January 5th, 2024, along with a determination and order advising Frank and Carolyn Bittrick that penalties were scheduled to begin on the 16th of January, 2024, and accrue for 10 days or until the violation was corrected. On January 10th, 2024, Mr. Bittrick called me to inform me that his neighbor had been harassing him by walking up and down the fence line. He stated that his neighbor had been harassing him all day. I explained that if he was feeling unsafe, he should reach out to the police department as they would handle any harassment issues between the two citizens. I also explained that this was not going to alleviate the time that we have to come into compliance. On January 31st of 2024, the penalties were assessed and the violations had not been corrected in the time frame provided. A invoice for the accrued penalties was sent out in the mail. On February 5th of 2024, Mr. Bittrick left me a voicemail informing me that he would like to schedule a hearing to discuss his case. I called him back and informed him that I would schedule him for the next hearing where he could discuss the already assessed penalties of the case. Based on the final inspection of the property, which was completed on the 31st of January of 2024, it is my opinion that the property was not in compliance with the City of Pasco Municipal Code cited. Currently, the property is not in compliance.
Question. Normally you have what you would like to see us do in this particular case. If there was a fine or what your recommendation would be, and I don't see that here.
The recommendation at the last code board hearing was $100 a day and a $200 repeat penalty. $100 a day for 10 days.
Okay, and that hasn't been imposed. So that was imposed?
It was imposed, yeah.
Yes,
Hasn't
it was
been paid.
imposed.
Okay, so I guess it'll be up to us to decide what we're doing then, huh? All right. Sir, would you like to be heard in the case? If you wouldn't mind, please stepping up to the microphone and state your name and address, please, for me, for the record.
Mr. Bittrick?
Oh,
Sir,
hold on just a second, sir.
hit that button right below the microphone. There's a little button.
I'm sorry. One more time, Mr. Bittrick, please.
Okay. My name is Frank Bittrick. I own the property at 5621 West Livingston in Pasco, which is property under question.
What would you like to share with us tonight?
I have several things I'd like to show.
Okay.
One question I have is that temporary barrier, that black eyesore there. If that wasn't there, we wouldn't have any leaves stacked up against it. I've had a problem, ongoing problem with my next door neighbor, Mr. Somerville, for years. I hired an attorney and he wrote up a letter. I got the letter, read it, and called him back, and there were several mistakes in the letter, typos and misspelled words. He corrected the letter and sent me another one and charged me another $100. I was gonna have him mail this to my neighbor, Mr. Somerville, but I didn't think it'd be worth about $200.
Okay, we'll take a look at that. All right. And what we have to do, Mr. Bittrick, is we can only really talk about your part of this case. We can't talk about your neighbor.
And sir,
He's the
is
one
that a
that's
copy?
anonymous complaint. The one I
Sir,
had a
well, we
problem
don't,
with.
Sir, was that a copy that you handed him? Can we keep
Yep.
that?
Yes, copy from the attorney.
all right, give me
If you
just,
look at the date, this has been going on for quite some time.
understood.
Okay, part of
This
the,
is not your original, this is a copy?
what?
This letter is not your original, it's a
It
copy?
looks like a copy.
I just ran a copy of it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, let's go that way first.
The reason I'm not mulching the leaves is because Mr. Somerville was hiding rocks, big rocks, underneath the leaves before and destroyed one lawnmower.
All right.
Picture of the rocks, all the busted parts, and the picture of the lawnmower.
go back to the podium so we can record it?
There's a picture of the lawnmower and all the busted parts from, and a picture of the rocks that he put underneath there. The first time he put a rock under there, I thought, I didn't think anything of it. So I just threw it in the garbage and the lawnmower parts.
Let me understand what you're trying to tell us.
I'm
That's-
trying to tell you that
Those are your leaves, right?
yes, those are my leaves.
And you're accusing him of putting rocks in your leaf pile?
That's the reason I'm not mulching the leaves.
Okay,
We've been
but
fighting for this for years.
that's what you're saying.
Yes.
Okay, just trying to understand.
Okay, thank you.
The day I received the fine, that's in the mail on the same day I got a tricycle. How can you write a fine for leaves when there's leaves on the trees? I find that hard to believe. Am I required to clean up leaves that are still on the trees?
Well, I think, Mr. Bittrick, I think what, are you saying your neighbor put up that barrier? Is that what it is?
Yes, I called and
I'm
called the
trying to,
authority 2 or 3 times. They said it's called a temporary barrier. There's no building codes required.
and I'll tell you, I understand if you're not getting along with your neighbor, I get that. And for whatever happened, but what happens is once a complaint, because that's why we're here, it's complaint driven, right? We don't go around looking for piles of leaves. The code enforcement folks don't do that. What they're doing is somebody called in a complaint. If you say it was your neighbor, maybe it was. We don't know that.
I know it.
But you know what you know. I don't. And so then what happens is one of the code enforcement people will come out and see if there is an actual violation. And that's when it will, the things start kind of working. If there's a violation, then they will work with you. And it looks like, over and over for quite some time, we were trying to work on getting the leaves cleaned up and some other stuff. And
Okay.
so my question is how come you didn't clean the leaves up?
Well, I have 2 reasons for not cleaning the leaves off.
Okay.
Number one, every time I go out to work on my lawn or my yard, Mr. Somerville comes out and walks up and down property line, harassing me, wanting to fight, threatening to whip my ass,
All right, we can't,
amongst other things.
I don't want to, sir, I don't want to have to take a break and just stop here, but we have to just talk about, we're not going to talk about your neighbor. We're not going
Well,
to
he's
talk
the one
about your neighbor.
generating
We're
this
just going
problem in the
to,
first
we'll
place.
just stop things right here. Because your neighbor doesn't have anything to do with this case right here.
He
What
doesn't?
we're talking about, Mr. Bittrick, and I'm doing it with all due respect, sir, please, is that we want to know, and I know it's hard, and I know it's not easy when you don't get along with your neighbors. I get that 100%. I know exactly where you're coming from. But once the city comes out and something happens, they say, hey, look, you got to clean up the leaves, and you have to clean that up because it's a violation, and it kind of is ongoing. I just want to, and if your neighbor's out there giving you trouble, but he's staying on his side of the fence or the barrier or whatever, I'm just trying to figure out why you haven't cleaned the leaves up. And
Because this has been an ongoing problem. This has been going on for years.
I get it, but we have these leaves here. See, that is from December last year,
And they're,
and I know you got a lot of trees. I do too.
not all those leaves are mine.
Well, if they're on your property, sir, if they're on your property, they're going to be yours.
That's just bad luck right there.
Man, I've been there.
South Clip right across the street, they have 5 times more big trees than
I
I
know,
ever thought I
I
had.
know.
That's called living in the Tri-Cities with the wind. We all get
Yeah.
other people's
Okay.
leaves. May I?
I have a question about whether was part of the donut hole. And according to the city, they told us that we were gonna be grandfathered in.
For
Now, was that true or not?
what?
For what?
The way we were living in the county.
I don't know what that means.
It means that we weren't under the city code authority to start with. If we're grandfathered in, you shouldn't have any authority in our neighborhood.
Unfortunately, sir, there's no such thing as grandfather clause.
Yeah, that
We,
would
we all say it, but there's no such thing.
Oh, yes, sir. Well, like.
Especially when
you
we
said,
annex a property. Now, occasionally, depending on where you're at in the donut hole, there's been a few times where we've given a year grace period, like on animal counts.
That
or
wasn't
other
brought up at
items.
the meetings.
But as far as city codes, no.
That wasn't brought up at the meetings. He said be grandfathered in. The only difference would be we'd have city police protection and better garbage service. And eventually we may have sewers and sidewalks.
No.
I think somebody was
Kirby.
pulling your leg.
Yeah,
What happened?
unfortunately, that's not accurate.
Sir,
I was sitting next to Roger Lake when they were saying this, and I said I should be taking notes. He said you don't need to be because there's a Freedom of Information Act. And
Yeah,
also, you don't have to bother because George is videotaping these meetings.
yeah.
You'll give anybody a copy who wants it.
Sir, I appreciate the issue with the neighbor, as the chairman has indicated. But if in fact, every time you go out to rake up the leaves or dispose of the leaves, he's out and threatening you with physical bodily harm, the answer isn't to leave the leaves. The answer would be to contact the Pasco Police Department
Get the
and
police
have them come out. And if they witness the threats,
He's not
I'm
gonna
sure
stand
they'll
around-
take the appropriate action.
He's not gonna stand around there as the police show up. He trimmed trees, if you notice, along his side of the property line where the trees are cut straight up. He killed 2 of my full-grown walnut trees by pruning them the wrong time of year. If you like pictures of that, I have them.
Well,
Fortunately, we can't do that.
Yeah, unfortunately, we can't
No,
have
I
that.
realize
Yeah.
that. It's water under
just
the bridge.
Mr. Bittrick, sir, what we want to do is, I think the 100% what we're here about is that the leaves were the initial complaint and they didn't get cleaned up. And you understand what the city is looking for? Do you understand when they said what they want? Because they haven't been cleaned up for various reasons. Is they are wanting to, it's already been imposed, right?
Yeah.
The $100 a day for 10 days.
Yes.
So what I would like to know, sir, please, if you could tell us a time frame and tell us what you would do to get your leaves cleaned up and how long you think it would take. That's what we're looking for here.
3/4 of them are already cleaned up.
Okay, so it's an easier job.
I only had 3 piles back there. They're for mulching, they're for compost piles. According to your code, it's legal to have compost piles. And you mulch leaves. And that's the only 2 friendly ways to handle leaves in the first place. Is either mulch or compost.
And you're saying that's what those are right there?
Yes. 3 compost piles, that's it. Those tumbleweeds came in after I got the fine. We get those all the time. Part of those leaves are stacked up on tumbleweeds. They're caught by that barrier.
All right, city,
So I believe this
can
picture
those
was
be
taken-
compost piles? What is that? How does that read?
These pictures were taken 2 days ago.
Right.
That area is approximately, sir, what do you think that is? Right
That's
up against the
rear quarter
property
mile.
line and from tree to tree, 20 feet?
What, the length of those,
From one tree to the next tree, what do you think it is? 20 feet?
25 feet.
So if it's a pile of leaves like that, and if it's roughly 5-10 feet wide, 20 feet long, that is no longer a compost pile.
Those aren't 20 feet long, they're separate piles.
Mr. Contreras, can you quote the code, please?
Any parcel in the city which is filthy, littered, or trash covered due to placing, dropping, disposing, throwing away, or otherwise discarding litter, garbage, refuse, cans, bottles, paper material, metal, organic or inorganic material on areas of the property other than approved garbage containers. Oh, the zoning code for the compost is, compost pile located on the property is not an approved location and is a nuisance.
Oh,
And the violation, I'm sorry, I read the wrong line. The violation is a pile of leaves less than 5 feet away from the adjoining property.
They are 5 feet away from the property.
looks kind of
Or
close.
they were until the wind blow. Every time the wind blows, you get a vortex from that temporary barrier. So it stirs stuff up all the time.
We understand that, but the thing is, look, we know the wind blows here. I get the same thing, but now, Mr. Bittrick, what we want to know is, you heard they told you what the code was, sir. You need to be, and I think, and I understand why you're doing it, but we're playing a little word game here, and I'd like to just kind of get down to it here to get this to where you finish getting the leaves situated to where they're at least 5 foot away, and if you need a copy of the code that talks about
I have a copy of the code.
okay, I would like to see you just get that done and be done with it, sir, and just get it done and tell us, hey, I can have that done in the next 2 weeks, and you would make us we would be super happy. Because if we keep just playing word games about this stuff, then we wonder, gosh, what is he ever going to clean it up? And so, while we have we're kind of on your side right now, and we understand that, but we need you to let us know, or if you just have no intention of doing anything with them, but if you just please tell us how long you would take to bring those piles to where, if the wind blows, it's not going to blow them within 2 feet of the fence or 5 feet, whatever the code and stuff is. We just want to get it taken care of. That's all.
If we can get 4 days in a row without snow or rain, I'd be happy to mulch them up.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I've mulched most of it already.
So
But
what do you
we haven't gone 2 days without rain or snow
I
since the 1st of
understand.
December,
understand?
other than when he was home for 2 weeks from
Right.
school.
So I need a time frame then that's reasonable. What's a reasonable time frame?
2 weeks.
Okay. Okay, there we go. All right. Is there anything else you would like to add, sir?
I had a whole lot to say, but apparently you're not interested, so it's fine.
Okay. All right, well, I appreciate it. All right,
The fine has already been imposed.
Yes, sir.
Do we have any authority to reverse that?
You do. You do.
okay. Okay,
Just want to stress to the board that this has been going on for quite a while.
right,
Understand?
of course.
Okay.
Okay,
If I were to reverse it, I would impose a much larger fine if it wasn't brought into compliance in the time frame agreed to.
No, that's fine.
all right, we'll consider that then.
You think that's appropriate, sir?
Could you do that?
Yeah, I can do that. I said 2 weeks, you didn't.
Okay.
I said the 2 weeks. You
Okay.
agreed to it, that's,
Okay, all right, we'll
I
talk
put the
about that here.
stipulations, you didn't.
All right, sir, thank you. You can go ahead and have a seat.
So, board, just to clarify
Yeah.
what you're gonna discuss.
Yeah.
I just so I'm on the same page. 2 weeks to come into compliance, all the leaves and debris picked up?
Except the one that,
Go ahead.
I have no control over the ones still on the trees.
Understood, but we'll see it, we would see a significant difference.
Well, it's,
I got you. There's still, I get it. We understand that. All right. Thank you, sir. Here we are. There being no further evidence to be presented, I determine the record complete. The hearing is now closed and no additional evidence will be permitted. The board will now discuss the charges, facts, and evidence presented, then we will render a decision. First off, do we agree by preponderance of the evidence the city has proven that a violation of the Pasco Municipal Code has occurred, and may I have a motion, one way or the other, please?
I move that the board, having heard the facts presented, and by preponderance of the evidence presented, find that the respondent is still in violation of the Pasco Municipal Code.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, the motion carries. I'm interested in what you were saying there, Dwayne. Why don't you lay it out for us?
Well, I'm confused. What's the fine right now?
It was
$100
$100 a day for 10
For 10
days.
days, $300 repeat.
$1,300.
Yes, sir. I apologize, $200 repeat.
Yeah.
So it's $1,200.
$1,200.
$1,200. I'd be willing to give him another 2 weeks. If he didn't make it, it's a $2,000 fine.
Just a straight up?
Yeah.
That would be a good
2
incentive
weeks
to get it
from
done.
This coming Monday.
With that,
Well, see, it's from when he gets the actual notice in
Notice.
the mail, so that he even gets a few extra days on top of that.
Fine.
Because this is Thursday, he
And
probably,
the weekend coming, so it's gonna be hard.
what's that?
The weekend's coming, so he won't get
Yeah,
another maybe
well,
5,
let's see, it
6
goes to
days.
Spokane, gets back, he might get it maybe Tuesday or Wednesday. And so it's the,
And then about
we're done, so you're gonna have to just sit down. It's okay, we already,
um,
It's actually from the date of signing.
yeah, he's,
Signing.
okay,
Sorry?
all right,
Date of signing.
okay,
Signing.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it'd be tonight.
let's give him 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay.
That way, that goes for, that'll hold up for the weather, gives him little extra time.
Yeah.
It counts for some rain and wind and.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Do that and then the 2, I'm okay with that.
I'm sorry?
I would do 3 weeks, and then if it's not cleaned up
2,000?
in 3 weeks, the 2.
just so that there's, in looking at it being tonight's the 7th, 3 weeks would put us to the 28th. I would, rather than a nebulous thing, I would say no later than 3/28. That's the 3
Well,
weeks.
The signing is gonna be
tonight.
Yeah, it starts
Tonight.
tonight.
tonight. You're gonna sign the letter tonight?
Yep.
You won't even have it.
Yeah, I will at the end of the
Right.
meeting.
At the end.
So that's why we added the extra week.
Okay. understand that.
That's what Dwayne was just, or Troy was just saying.
Yeah.
So by March 28th, it needs to be cleaned up, otherwise there's gonna be a $2,000 penalty. Is that the way I understand it?
So I'll make a motion?
Go for it.
Yeah.
I move that Frank and Carolyn Bittrick be given 3 weeks to complete the cleanup of the violation of piles of leaves on the current property. And if not completed within the 3 weeks, a $2,000 penalty be imposed.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded, and all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, the motion carries. Sir, we're gonna give you 3 weeks. Please, just get it done and be done with it. And then, hopefully that fine won't be imposed, but we appreciate you coming tonight. You get official notice in the mail. Thank you very much. Do we, can you wait till it's over? We'll be done in a few minutes and then come up and ask. All right, do we have any other cases on the agenda?
No, sir, he did not show up.
Okay. Do we have any amendments or dismissals to the resolution?
Sir, we ask that the case that was on the agenda that did not appear tonight be moved to the resolution. That is CEB 2023-0979.
Okay. All right, who would like to make a motion for us on this, on the resolution?
I move that the board approve Resolution 3-2024 as amended, finding that code violations have been corrected and may be dismissed, deferring action on certain cases until proper notification is made, and accepting voluntary correction agreements and assessing penalties and imposing timeframes on certain cases.
Is there a second?
I second.
It's been moved and seconded. We accept the resolution as amended. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, the motion carries. Do we have a report from staff tonight?
No, sir, not tonight.
Is there any other business?
No, sir.
There being no further business before the Pasco Code Enforcement Board, this meeting is declared adjourned at 7:33.